family. Week in and week out. The new way. People of vision. Showing the way for the whole world. Thank you for letting me speak again. I didn't know when I stood here in January, that was the beginning of this odyssey that I've been on of doing daily videos. One of the early videos that I did had 1,000 viewers in the first week. I had another video that had 2,000 viewers in the first 2 to 3 days. But every day, God graces me with 200 to 300 videos of each new video I put up every day. 200 to 300 people around the world watch it. And if you had told me in January that that was going to happen, it would have been hard to believe. That I would be able to encourage people around the world in this time called the Awakening. This 9th wave is the most incredible opportunity we've ever been given. And a few weeks ago when Sue asked me to speak and I came up with a title, I didn't know what Spirit was going to lay on my heart to share. But in the last few days, there's been some clarity, and it's behind me on the wall. And I'm going to look at those 5 gifts from 2 different perspectives this morning. And I ask you to go with me on that journey and see from those 2 perspectives. Before you had a human body, before any of us had a human body, we were one with what we now refer to as God. And you might say that God was looking for volunteers that were willing to go on a journey into physicality and take on human bodies. And God said to each one of the souls that was willing to go on this journey, I'm going to give you some gifts before you go. First, I'm going to give you courage. And you're going to need it where you're going. Because it isn't going to be anything like what you have experienced here. It's going to be a totally different experience for you. But I want you to know that I'm giving you courage that can never be taken away. And it's going to be in you always. I'm going to give you, the divine said to each soul, I'm going to give you freedom. You can go and you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm giving you total freedom. It's your trip, baby. You're going to write the script. You're going to star in the play. It's your script. It's your journey. But I'm giving you total freedom. No limitations. Total freedom. The third gift I'm going to give you is creativity. You're going to create not necessarily everything that happens to you, but you're going to create your response to everything that happens to you in this journey that you're courageous enough to go on. You're going to be able to create it because I'm giving you a part of me, and I'm the creator of all that is. And you are a part of me, and you will always be a part of me. And so I'm giving you the gift of creativity to create whatever you want in your world. And I'm giving you knowledge. That you know everything that you're going to need to know. When you need to know it, you're going to know everything you need to know. You're going to have knowledge of all it is. It's going to be as infinite as you allow it to be. But I'm giving you the gift of knowledge. And, finally, I'm giving you the gift of unconditional love, which is a redundancy. Because love is unconditional. Oh, one more thing. All of these gifts that I'm giving you, when you get there, in the physical body, you're going to forget you have them. You're going to totally forget. And your job is going to be to remember those gifts. Because instead of feeling courageous, I'm telling you right now, you're going to experience fear. Because you forgot the gift of courage when you got over there. Freedom? My God, you're going to experience bondage to every imaginable thing that you can dream up. You're going to be enslaved to this and that and the other thing. And you're not even going to know it. That you're enslaved to it. You're not even going to realize it. Creativity? You're going to create a world where you have to ask for permission to be yourself. Because you're going to think that everyone else knows more about your life than you do. And you're going to give all your power away because of your forgetting. And not only are you going to forget that you know everything, you'll sometimes act like you know everything. But you'll be coming from a place of ignorance because you really don't remember what you know. You really don't. And love? You're going to be looking everywhere outside of yourself for someone to validate you, someone that's willing to accept you, because you're going to forget how to love yourself. And that brings us, that's the pre. You know, that's before we became human. That's sort of like the ground rules of this thing called humanity's journey into the illusion of separation. And here we are on April 17th, 2011, Palm Sunday. In the 9th wave, and it depends on when you put the starting date, whether we're in a day or a night. But here's the time. This 9th wave is about bringing it all together. It's about remembering and awakening to all that eternal stuff that we were given, all those gifts that were given before we became human. Are you up for the challenge? Is what I ask each of you. Because whether you're up for the challenge or not, it's here now. And we are the ones we've been waiting for all along. This is the time we get to remember and stop pretending that we forgot, because now we can remember. The universe has provided us the memory. It's in every one of us. Every human on this planet right now, regardless of whether they are a light worker playing a dark role or a light worker playing a light role, every one of us is remembering things from our eternal past, our infinite past. It's all converging consciously right now. That's what the awakening is. The awakening is making that which has been unconscious conscious. And it's the most exciting time to be alive. You know, when I woke up this morning several times, the message that Spirit had given me was, I was jumping with excitement. And then I got here this morning, and I'm creating with the energy that I'm feeling. Margie and Scott and others know what that means, and those that have been to the workshop knows what that means. The people with the camera. I didn't know where the camera was. I didn't know where a tripod was. I thought, how is this going to happen? I've promised people around the world that I'm going to be putting this up right after I'm done. And so my excitement that I felt when I got up this morning turned into anxiety. And I was wondering, where is everybody? Why don't I have these answers? And I created that myself. And you say, Ron, why would you be sharing that with us now? That's negative. If you've been listening to my videos, you know what I feel about that. We've been trying to get away from the negative all of our lives. And it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Because these things we've labeled negatives are parts of ourself. And how do you get away from part of yourself? You may try. We've done a really good job of trying hard. But it doesn't work. So I share with you the humanness of my anxiety. But where we stand right now, as we look at the world around us, I did a video a couple of days ago called Divine Discontent. How many of you, when you look at the world, think the world is a wonderful place? How many of you think the world is a troublesome place? Same hands. You get it. You get it. It's a wonderful place with challenge. We were told before we got here that the challenges were coming. We were told. And we exhibited the great courage to come anyway. You did. I did. Every person you meet accepted that challenge, or you wouldn't be here. And if you're here, you're not finished yet. This is the time that we came for. This is the time we've waited for. The entirety of creation hinges right now on this ninth wave, when all of the underworld is opened, and we start to have the courage to face the darkness that's within us and heal it. Or, if you're a light worker on the dark side, face the light that's within you. And I don't think there's any light workers on the dark side in this room. I don't think. Are there any? I mean, I don't want to exclude anybody. Or maybe you don't want to admit it. I mean, is there anybody that have half a hand up? We have the opportunity to exercise our courage. And the things we don't like about the world, we have the freedom to change it. If we're willing to exercise our courage and step into our freedom, and stop asking for permission to be yourself, and me stop asking for permission, stop making excuses why you can't do what you came here to do, and you just do it anyway. You don't wait for all the perfect things to line up. You don't wait for the perfect lover or partner. You don't wait to win the lottery. You don't wait for the perfect job. You don't wait for the perfect religion to come along. You don't wait for anything. No more excuses. No more excuses. Are you willing to be free and exercise your courage to exercise your freedom? Are you willing to be you? Are you willing to step out of your comfort zone and go where you've never gone before and do what you perhaps have never done before? That calling that's within you, that has your imprint, that only you can fulfill. Are you willing to be that? Are you willing to step out and trust that something, some part of you has the answer and knows the way? Are you willing to exercise your creativity? This ninth wave, when it's completed, I think is going to give birth to something called the Renaissance. Now, we all know that there was a Renaissance back a few hundred years, 400 years ago, 500 years ago, whatever. An awakening at that time. This is going to be so far surpassing that. The creativity, you want to play music? You want to write your novels? You want to write your plays? You want to create cars that don't need gasoline? Or free energy devices? Or medical devices that heal people, that actually heal people? That use all of your talents and your gifts and abilities to create something that's going to make a positive impact? Creativity. This is the time that you can allow your creativity to come alive. As you awaken that spiritual gift and you allow that spiritual gift within you. Knowledge. How many of you have heard of the internet? Is there anybody in this room that hasn't? Unanimous. Knowledge at your fingertips. At your fingertips. What do you want to know? Google it. Chances are there are others that wanted to know too and have ideas about it. Unlimited knowledge exists. And now we're beginning to have it at our disposal, if we choose it. We don't have to choose it. We can choose to stay in the box and be comfortable. Or we can choose to exercise our gifts, the divine gifts that are within each of us that were placed there before we ever became human. We can choose. We can choose that if we want to. And that brings me to the most important thing, and I'm probably going to spend the rest of the time on this one. What is love? Poets and writers and singers and troubadours and people of all ministers, everybody imaginable has pondered the question, what is love? You are. I am. Every one of these gifts is an aspect of love. The love that what we call God had for each one of us, entrusting us with those gifts to go forth into the world that we have created. How many of you believe it's going to take years and years and years to change the world into something that is more beneficial for people? With love, love is the most powerful, the most transformative force in the cosmos. But what is love? We use the term, as I said earlier, unconditional love, and it's redundant. It's a redundancy. because we've all we use the word unconditional because we've all experienced love with conditions. And we even put it on ourselves. I will love me when. I will love me if. Haven't you? We've all done it to ourselves. Using our freedom and our creativity, this is what we've created, this is what we've done with it. Are you willing to love the fact that you've been ignorant most of your life? Are you willing to love the fact that you've been a hypocrite lots of times? Are you willing to love the fact that everything that you've created that you didn't like had a gift for you? Had something that you needed to see about yourself? The love of God, what we call God, is so great that it gave, all of these gifts were given to each of us so that we could awaken. These are ours. And we, through our love, transform everything. But if you're a light worker and you're only loving the light, then your love is not unconditional, and it's therefore not love. And if there's any message that light workers and New Age people and metaphysicians and religious people and spiritual people have to get through our heads and into our hearts, it's that as long as we're not loving at all, we're not loving at all.
Amen.
Not at all. If you're putting a condition on your love, drop the word love, because it's not love. It's one of the hardest things for me to learn. When I look at the world and I look at what's going on in the world with the bankers and the lawyers and the politicians and the corporate executives and the people that seem to be anti-life. And my natural egoic tendency is to withdraw and separate from these people that are light workers on the dark side, giving us gifts so that we can wake up, so that we can become so uncomfortable that we start saying, wait a minute, and we start remembering our divine gifts. And we don't attack. The dark workers or the light workers on the dark side. We don't, it's not about attacking. We stand in our truth and say, I am a sovereign being. I love myself enough to love you. And to recognize that what you are showing me is a part of me that I haven't reconciled. But because I am learning to love me, I'm going to reconcile that part of me that wants so hard to be separate and controlling and right. What do you feel this morning? What do you feel? Can you feel And the energy, what I'm feeling is the energy is like down here. But that's me, because you're all reflecting me. But I love that that's where we are. Would I like to be higher energy in this moment? Julie, you know I would. But this is a reflective time. It's a reflective time to remember and awaken to the divine gifts that are within us, to come alive, and through our love to transform the world. And you know something? We not only can do it, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Thank you for correcting me. I needed that. It's happening every day. And it's accelerating every day. That's what the ninth wave is about. This whole phase of evolution completed in just a very short time. I'm going to wrap up and close with this. I want you each to remember every day in your meditation, prayer, contemplation, whatever your practice is. Every day I want you to think from two levels. Really important, because you're bringing those two levels together. I want you to remember and think from the place of the infinite and eternal you that you are. Recognize that that is you. That which you call God is not out there somewhere. That is you. That is you. And remember the courage that it took for you to come and be a human being. And give yourself gratitude and appreciation. I'm serious. It's a gift you give yourself. Amazing grace is a gift that we give to ourselves. This is the love that transforms the world by transforming the way we see things. I'm grateful for each one of you being here this morning. Together, we are impacting the entire planet. And Sue, I think there's going to be more new ways springing up this year all over the place. And I'm still waiting to get you on video and put you on my YouTube channel. But thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.